Well, in this tutorial, I'd like to quickly show you how you can define scenarios for requirements in order to start preparing for test cases. This process called, this tutorial is called scenario-based test design and test management in Rommana, because in Rommana we do not really create test cases directly for requirements, because we understand that requirements are always incomplete, high level, vague, missing details. So the Rommana test design methodology relies on the fact that we are going to take a requirement, we're going to build a number of scenarios, and for those scenarios, for each one of those scenarios, we're going to be building test cases. So this chart here, which is explained well in another tutorial, I just want to show you that piece. Right here, here's a function requirement. We're going to take a requirement right now and building scenario. By the way, when we build the requirements from scenarios, when we build scenarios from requirements directly, we call them non-use case scenarios. However, as you can see also, you can take a requirement, you can build use cases, and for each use case, you can create use case scenarios. Once you have either non-use case scenarios or use case scenarios, then you can start building your test cases. And the test cases, as you can see, this line here comes down here, or from non-use case scenarios, you can go and build test cases. So for now, I'm going to show you how you just do this part here, creating scenarios for requirements. In order to do that, I'm going to go back now to my requirement screen here. And I had created a requirement here, which I called it place order. Okay, this is a requirement called the place order, very simple. And here's the definition of the requirement, very high level, that does not provide much details. Now, here's how you can go about building your scenarios. As I said, we can either build non-use case scenarios here or use case scenarios under the use cases. So I'm going to go here and click on new, which will take me to the scenario screen to create a number of non-use case scenarios. Let me very quick define for you that a scenario in Rommana is nothing more than any condition or any situation that could possibly happen in production that the system will have to deal with. So I'm going to give a scenario name here. I'm going to have to say place or order for something. All right. Sorry. We have in stock. Okay. All right. And I can provide a description here if I want, but I can see if I feel like my scenario name is descriptive enough, I can leave it at that. I can also provide an expected behavior if I believe that expected behavior is not obvious. But in this case, you know, if you, I mean, remember, potentially we're going to take those scenarios and take them in two different directions. One direction is the scenario would be given to developers to make sure that they have code to handle this scenario. And of course, if I provide description, if I provide expected behavior, then the developer knows what to do. At the same time, the same scenario would go to the test team to build test cases. That's why once we save the scenario, we can see that we can create test cases for that. Again, one more time, I don't see a reason for this very simple case to put a description or expected behavior. Now, of course, you can put an expected behavior, and in the scenario review process, which is going to be explained in a different tutorial, you can have different people giving you different opinion about is that really the expected behavior or not. So we'll leave it at that. You can see the requirement is stated here. This is for requirement number 2. And actually, once I specify the scenario name, the default for the scenario type here is a narrative. There are other types of scenarios that will be handled also in other tutorials. But now for risk-based testing, you could also specify how important that scenario is for testing, and Rommana will calculate a testing priority. For now, since I'm not doing any risk-based testing in that tutorial, I'll leave it at that. I'll just go ahead and save the scenario definition. Very simple. So creating scenarios in Rommana is just straightforward. It's adding scenario name, scenario description, expected behavior. And as I said, the second two fields are optional. Now you can see the scenario screen, and you can see now Down here are the test cases that we can define and ad hoc tests we can define, because in Rommana, when you design tests, you can design ad hoc tests or you can design test cases. Okay, those are going to come later on in the tutorial of how to create test cases for scenarios. But for now, let me show you how to go further and create more scenarios. Now, since we are in the scenario screen, it shows us here on the top that we're looking at a scenario number 1 from requirement number 2. I'm going to click here, and say, okay, that's another scenario. And I start adding scenarios like that. And scenarios can be one line that simply is a scenario name. So in this case, I'm going to say, let's say, place order for something we do not have in stock. All right, I believe I'm okay with the spelling. Otherwise, I can run the spelling checker here. So let me save. Okay, I don't have to do anything else. So we made the scenario screen very simple, such that people can use it to add scenarios very quick. That's all. That's all what you have to do. In a future version of Rommana, we are actually importing bulk of scenarios from a Word document.